Hey there, my name's Chris Winter, and in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how much money you can make from 1,000 views on YouTube. Now, not many people are really sharing this kind of this stat, and I'm happy to kind of open up my own analytics and show you exactly how much I earn from two of my channels. Now, rather than just one channel, I actually have two. One's a photography channel, and the other one is about business. And the interesting thing that I think you're going to see is that it really does depend on what kind of topic that you're making videos on in order to get that 1,000 views or your CPM, your cost per mil. Now, it's really interesting also to see the different types, the times of year in which you get paid a little bit more. So generally, later on in the year, you might be getting paid a little bit more depending on the niche, but I don't really want to hold you up too much. I'm just going to jump in and show you the stats, and hopefully you guys can get something out of it. Now, if you haven't done it yet, please do subscribe to my channel because I'm going to show you a lot of these kind of insider stats and also give you some tips on how you can raise your CPM so you can get paid more money per 1,000 views. Now, if you're not getting 1,000 views on your videos, don't worry. This obviously does carry over to smaller videos as well, but I can also give you lots of tips in the future about how you can raise not only the amount of money you make per 1,000 views, but get more views onto your videos because, as I've said, one of my channels has over 400,000 subscribers, and this one here has around about 35,000. Oh, one last thing, guys, I forgot to mention that I'm currently giving away a Canon SL3 DSLR. It's a 4K DSLR, a beautiful camera, to one lucky subscriber. So all you need to do to enter is subscribe to this channel for your chance to win. So let's jump into my YouTube analytics here. And the first one that we're going to look at is my business channel, which is what you're actually watching right now. It's called The Money Mentor, and I've only had this channel since November last year. So maybe around about 6 or 8 months. And I really wanted to share this channel with you first, these analytics first, because you can really see the amount of money that you can make if you're quite smart with the kind of videos that you put out. So as you guys are interested in learning about how much you make per 1,000 views on YouTube, it's pretty simple math, really. So for example, we have this video here, which gets, over the last 28 days, got 12,000 views. And for that 12,000 views, I made $1,152. Now this is in Australian dollars. It's kind of similar to American dollars, a little bit less, but you can get a rough idea about it. Maybe that might be, $700 US dollars. But the way we can figure it out exactly how much money you make per 1,000 views is that we can go 1,152 divided by, let's say, 12.1. As you can see, for every 1,000 views that video got, I made $95. Now, that might sound like a crazy amount because that's a ridiculously high CPM, but that's the way that it works on my channel. And there's a few reasons for this. Let's take a look at another video. So we have this video here, the best online businesses to start in 2019. We can take a look at the views. So again, we have $969 divided by 18,000. And on that video, I got paid $53 per 1,000 views. With this one here, the must-have Shopify apps, I made $871. And we got 10.9 thousand views. Oops. And you can see that we made $79 per 1,000 views on there. Now, this isn't regular. You guys are probably seeing maybe $1 per 1,000 views, $2, maybe $5 per 1,000 views. But there are a few kind of tactics that I like to employ in order to get a higher CPM. Clearly, just having a business channel is a really good idea. Having a money-making channel is a really good idea because people are willing to kind of pay to make a bit of money with that. But as you can see, if we just take a look here at the overall graph for the last 28 days, we've made $4,200. Let's look at it for 30 days. And over the last 30 days, it's made $4,400. And you can see the chart here is quite consistent. So the orange line here are my views. Just 2,000 views a day, quite a small channel. And the blue line here is the amount of money I'm making through AdSense. It goes up and down a little bit, but it is pretty consistent. Last few days, it's been really quite good. We made $220 today, which is quite nice. But as you can see, again, we can do some pretty simple numbers here. I'm not going to show you my CPM because I think YouTube doesn't like that terms of service, but we can really figure it out quite easily. So if we look here, so let's look, for example, this day here. We had 2,590 views divided by, $167 divided by 2.59, and that day made $64 per 1,000 views, which is pretty cool. So essentially, if I was to make $64 per 1,000 views and I ended up getting 10,000 views on my channel, I'd clearly be making $640 per day, which is pretty cool. Or if I was to get what I get on, say, my second channel, which is a photography channel, which is about 30 to 40,000 views a day, let's say 64 times 40, it would be $2,500 a day just from YouTube ads alone. And obviously I also make money through affiliates and courses and things like that as well. But it's pretty interesting to see just how much money you can actually make through YouTube. When people say that you can only make, $1, $2, and they talk about this kind of adpocalypse kind of thing, and they're like, it's over trying to make money on YouTube. If you know the right ways to do it, you can definitely make a lot more money. And that's kind of what I'm here to share with you guys. And this whole channel is all about showing that you can actually make a fair bit of money just from a YouTube channel. You don't have to do advertising or anything. If you want to, you can actually make more money than most people end up doing. Let's just jump to my second channel. Just firstly, if you see this channel here, Money Mentor, we'll just go to the actual channel itself. You can see it's actually a really small channel. So we're only getting around about 2,000 views a day. We do have like over 30,000 subscribers, but it's still a small channel. Okay, so let's just jump to my second channel here before we look at the stats. Now this channel here has been around for 5 years. This is my Chris Winter photography channel. It teaches you how to make money. It doesn't teach you how to. So let's jump to my second channel now. I've got this channel here. This is Chris Winter Photography. And this is all about learning how to use a camera, the best cameras to use, the best cameras to buy, things like, Canon cameras, Panasonic cameras, all of that. Now this one here gets a lot more views. If we take a look at the last 28 days on this channel, we're averaging around about 25,000 views a day, 27, sometimes, up to 30,000. And in the past, it's actually been over 50,000 views a day. But let's now take a look at how much money we're making per 1,000 views on this channel. So the biggest video that I had over the last 30 days on this channel was this one here. It's called the Best Beginner DSLR Camera. We actually got over 60,000 views in the last month, which is pretty cool. So let's do some stats on this. So we had $425 for that video. If we divide that by 60.9, so 60,000, we can see that we made $6.90 per 1,000 views. So significantly less than my other channel. Let's look at the next video. This tutorial here, we made $283 divided by 34. We made $8 per 1,000 views. Best cheap DSLR 2019, $179 for 33,000 views, just $5 per 1,000 views. Now this might be okay, and this is still higher than a lot of people make on YouTube. But as you can see, if you know a few of the kind of the tactics in that to get a higher CPM, it can make quite a big difference. Now, if you guys would like me to make a video on how to kind of increase your CPM, let me know, and I'm totally happy to make a video on it. But you can definitely see that you can make a significant difference on your CPM depending on the country. So another thing I wanted to share with you, because it's kind of important as well, is let's take a look at the CPM per demographic. So which country they're coming from. So we can see that I made the majority of my money through for this month through the United States, $2,136. They had 198,000 views. Then 273 through the United Kingdom. Australia, 161. But let's have a look at this. This is interesting because we have India, and I have a lot of fans over in India, and a big hello to all my Indian fans. But I do want to share with you that we got 116,000 views from India, but I only made $58 from that for the whole month. Whereas we had 46,000 views from the United Kingdom, but I made $273. So we got nearly triple the amount of views from India, but we actually made maybe 5 times as much money through the United Kingdom. So this is also really important, and these are the kind of things that affect your CPM on YouTube. So if you really want to get a higher CPM, you do want to be targeting the kind of more wealthy countries. So again, these are kind of some of the wealthiest countries in the world: United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, Netherlands, Germany, and then Sweden as well. But obviously you do want to just get the stuff out to everyone, but it is also interesting to see. So we'll jump over back to my other channel here. Where are we? And we'll check out the demographics for this one as well. So we're going to our revenue for the last 28 days. And we'll take a look at the geography. And again, it looks like United States is on top. Let's just compare this to the views because it's always interesting to see. So we had $2,700 from the United States, $481 from the United Kingdom, $285 from Australia, $234 from Canada, $54 from Germany, and India, again, unfortunately, just $18, even though we did have 5,000 views. So you can look at this. This is a really interesting way. So if we look at Ireland, which is quite a first world country, they had 319 views, and from that I made $18. But from India, I had 5,300 views, but I only made $18 as well. So it does make quite a big difference. Definitely no disrespect to Indians. It's more about just the price that advertisers are willing to pay to get their ads seen in that country. Now guys, if you'd like me to make more videos like this, so I can kind of show you exactly how much money you can make and also give you more tips, please let me know and I'll try and make these. Maybe I can even make these kind of every month and showing you the exact ways in order for you to increase the amount of money that you make on your YouTube channel as well. So there you go. That's about the amount of money that you can make off 1,000 views on YouTube. Now it's always going to be different for you and me, mainly for the reason of different topics and different locations. Obviously, if you're in somewhere like America or you're in the Scandinavian countries or England or Australia, you're generally going to be getting a higher CPM. If you're in an Asian country, generally it will be slightly lower, but that doesn't mean that you can't boost your CPM by changing the kind of videos that you make. So like we saw, business videos, money-making videos generally get paid a lot more than, say, if you're just going to be doing something like vlogging or even my photography channel, which has quite a lower CPM, especially compared to that kind of business channel. Now, if you have any questions, please do leave them in the comment section below. I'm really happy to answer your questions because that's kind of what I'm doing this channel for, is to help you guys, especially young YouTubers or people, not just young, people who are early into the kind of YouTube phase. And if you're not making much money, I really would like to be able to help you either boost your CPM or get more views. So definitely leave comments and also subscribe because that would be absolutely awesome. I hope you guys have a great day. And as we always do in this channel, let's finish off this video with a few entrepreneur Q&As. What side hustles are the best for someone with a full-time job? I love the idea of having a side hustle, even if you do have a full-time job. I do know it's really difficult actually having a side hustle, working on anything extra, because a full-time job itself can be very, very tiring. But generally, maybe I would like to look into something like doing Etsy. You can send things off at different times. Maybe doing an eBay store, which can be still profitable these days. You can go out and find different things on the weekends and then sell them during the week and, have those kind of, little payments coming in here and there. One thing I really like is selling a digital product. So the reason why I like a digital product, which might be a course or an ebook or a guide or something like that, is that it's pretty much going to be working for you. So maybe on the weekend when you've got a little bit of free time, you can sit down and record maybe 10 or 20 videos about something. So for example, it might be on, how to play the guitar or, how to shoot a better basketball shot. And you can sell that course whenever you want, and then essentially your website's always going to be kind of selling that. People can download it and you don't really have to worry about it. So it might not be a huge amount of income at first, but once you get the ball rolling and you might be selling 2 or 3 courses a day, let's say that course is going to be $50 or $100, which is what people are happy to pay for. That's $100, $150 every day of that money coming in, which can really be a nice little side hustle without having to work on it constantly. You work on it for maybe a weekend, get it up and running, get a website up and running, and then you're going to be good to go. So that's probably going to be my #1 side hustle, selling courses. Can you make money from Patreon? Yeah, definitely you can make money from Patreon, and I think it's a good kind of way, especially if you're a smaller channel but you've got a really solid community. I actually have a friend or a guy who I know who's consistently makes $4,000 or $5,000 a month on Patreon because he does kind of a weekly vlog thing, which is like an exclusive vlog. They're quite a long vlog, about an hour, but people will pay to watch that, and it's only $5 a month for them to pay. So you can definitely make a nice, consistent income from Patreon. It's definitely not what I would call like a passive income, because people generally expect a fair bit from you if you are going to be having a Patreon, because they think that, you know, I'm kind of supporting you, but it's definitely something that can be done. You just have to offer enough value. So I think a lot of people will, well, I see this a lot, they start a Patreon page thinking, you know, I've got all these people who follow me on YouTube, but if you're not actually offering enough value, enough kind of exclusive value, people aren't generally going to be following you and contributing monthly. So what you need to really look into is maybe doing something like an exclusive vlog, an exclusive series that only those people on Patreon can really see. And you've got to be really consistent with it, because if you're not consistent with Patreon, people aren't going to be consistent with their payments, and they will very quickly dry off. So I think you need to be a little bit cautious with Patreon. You need to make sure and kind of test the waters a little bit to see if people will actually, you know, pay on Patreon, because you can definitely get a negative backlash. There's been so many people I've seen who've started a Patreon and people are like, oh, you're money hungry. So I think it's important to know that generally, if you are going to be starting a Patreon, you might get a little bit of backlash, but at the same time, you need to make some money. So maybe I'll make a video on how to make money on Patreon and how to really get a successful Patreon campaign. What are your favorite business books? Ooh, that's a good question. These days, I generally listen to audiobooks rather than actually read books. Back in the day, though, I really liked anything by Richard Branson. He's probably my favorite entrepreneur of all time. He was really one of the people who inspired me when I was very young. And, you know, I love reading Losing My Virginity and then Business Stripped Bare and things like that. They were really fantastic. And I think they're a little bit different these days to what's coming out these days, which are a lot more digital kind of stuff. Richard Branson, back in the day when he was in the 1960s, 1970s, working, you know, with things like the Rolling Stones and Virgin Records, that was really fantastic. And it was really, really exciting reading about how he kind of was the true definition of an entrepreneur. So if you've never read Richard Branson's books, or you've never even heard about his story, it's highly recommended. And he does a fantastic job kind of reading these and kind of telling a whole story about what it was like kind of in these kind of rock and roll era. You know, he used to start a newsletter when he was like 15, and he would call up people like Pepsi and Coke and kind of pretend to be an older guy with an older voice and trying to get advertising and things like that. It was so cool. It was the original version of hustle. So definitely anything by Richard Branson. I think Gary Vee's got a few nice business books. They're pretty popular these days, and some things with Gary Vee I kind of disagree with in terms of his hustle mentality. I think it's a little bit overblown, but some of his books are quite inspiring, and just the way in which he kind of does work pretty hard can be really quite good. I think Pat Flynn's got a couple of good books from Smart Passive Income. He's definitely something that I would take a look at. And who else is there? Any other business books? Grant Cardone's got some really good books as well. So, you know, his 10 times series is really good. So I'll definitely take a look at it. And I think he's got a free booklet, which is like his millionaire booklet. That's definitely something to take a look at. It's quite inspiring. And one that's kind of not a fully business book, but quite a good motivational book is by Mel Robbins. It's called The 5-Second Rule. I really like that book as well. So check that one out. What is the best way to make money as a teenager? Well, there's lots of different ways you can make money as a teenager. And I think the important thing is that you don't limit yourself because you are a teenager. I mean, there's lots of guys who are, you know, 15, 16, 17, 18 who are making thousands upon thousands of dollars a week, and it's definitely possible. I'd definitely take a look into doing drop shipping, you know, with Amazon. I'd take a look at building a YouTube channel, and that's probably going to be the number one thing that I would recommend, especially if you are a little bit younger. Building that personal brand with your YouTube channel, because from there's so many different ways in which you can actually make a fair bit of money. So what you need to do is come up with a great niche, something you're interested in, but also something that other people are interested in. So they're going to be looking for those videos and finding you, and then becoming a fan of yours and a subscriber. So once you've got them as a fan, essentially you can sell so many different things to them, whether it's a membership, a course, a product, you know, a digital product. And then you can also do things like sponsorships with companies, you know, Audible, Squarespace, Shopify. They will all be interested in sponsoring you. And essentially all you need to do is build that brand up enough so you've got a few thousand people, then you can sell from there. I think that's going to be a better option rather than, you know, getting a paper route or something like that, which is limited by the amount of time you can put in. So let's say you can make $15 an hour doing that. With something like YouTube, it's going to be working constantly. That brand is always going to be pushing out to people. So that's the way in which I would probably start making money as a teenager.